Our next presenter is also Stephen Mascrez. His second pitch will be on multiple-cumulative trapping, non-saturated headspace, SPME, a powerful tool to increase volatile fingerprints.
So, still me. So thanks again for the opportunity to show another part of my work. So here, among the different techniques for volatile profiling foods, headspace solid phase macro extraction is probably the most widely applied, because the main advantages of this technique are that it's solvent-free, easy automation, and the flexibility due to the different solvents available in the market. In this study, we decided to work on complex matrix, namely olive oil, and because SPME is the most used techniques for the sampling olive oil volatiles. And these volatiles are really important for the fingerprinting of different olive oil as authenticity or quality assessment. And to sample these volatiles in olive oil, the DDB CAR PDMS, so the coating the most used for this. And this one, the mechanism of the extraction is adsorption. So in adsorption, many competitions may occur between the different compounds. So that it can reduce, especially the extraction of semi-volatile compound or compound with a lower affinity with a phase. And so here we decided to develop a method to improve the extraction of the volatile with the SPME. And so I'm going to talk first about the Sentry. It's the latest Marx autosampler, and the most important novelty inside is the presence of we call a cold trap. So it's a sorbent tube inside the autosampler, what can focus all the components inside. So I mean, for example, if you want to extract 2, 3, or more times your sample with SPME, between each desorption of the SPME, all the compounds are focused here because it's a refrigerated trap. And then this trap is heated up very fast and then ejected in one shot and one GC analysis. So here, what the angle of our work was to work with the different volume of sample, because we know that we can assume that the pKa intensity is an indicator of the absolute concentration, and then to quantify with SPME, we need to be in non-saturated headspace. And that we know, so was what we show here with the figure 1, it's between 0.1 gram and 1.5 gram. We are from a part in non-saturated headspace and the other part with 1.5 in saturated headspace. And 1.5 gram, it's important to notice that is the most common mass of sample used for olive oil. And so here you can see, so you have the chart for 10 and 30 minutes, but we apply here the correlation with a linear and exponential model. And the linear model fits with the sample, the volume with a higher amount, so 1 gram, 1.5 gram, but the exponential model fits with lower amounts, here 0.1 gram. And the reason here, when we do multiple extraction, so not cumulative, there is an exponential decrease of the extraction from the area. So it's normal that when we apply an exponential model, it fits very well. So on the figure 2 first, here you can see a chart. So on the axis, you can see the KOA. KOA is a constant of distribution between octanol and air, so hydrophobic matrix and the air. And then on the y-axis, you can see a ratio between 1.5 gram on 0.1. So it's just to see that how we improve the extraction when we use a higher amount. And what you can see, we improve the extraction with a low KOA. So for the most volatile compound more present in the air, headspace. But when with a higher volume, higher content of sample, there is no effect on the semi-volatile for the most semi-volatile compound, sorry. And so in the second time also to show you the figure 3. So in the same way, on the axis, you can see the KOA. So to show, in a way to show the volatility of the compound, the distribution between the headspace and the hydrophobic matrices, here the olive oil, and the ratio between 3 times 10 minutes on the 30 minutes of extraction. So in both cases, there's 30 minutes of extraction, but here 3 times 10 minutes, so we're focusing in the cold trap. We are more in the first part of the extraction for the more kinetic one. And so there's less competition between compounds. So the lower compounds, the semi-volatiles are more extracted in that case. So there's less competition between compounds. And so to see if there is a use, of course, to improve the extraction of the semi-volatile compound, as a proof of concept, we apply it to different olive oils with different quality of olive oil, so extra virgin, and lampant. And so you can see on the first heat map, so 0.1 gram for 30 minutes. The discrimination for the classification are not well because the virgin olive oil are much confounding with the extra virgin olive oil. But when we apply the 30 times 10 minutes, 3 times 10 minutes, sorry, consider if it's GC or GC times GC, the classification is really well designed. So you have a part, the extra virgin olive oil, the gray part, then the virgin and the lampant. And this is very, very powerful because the virgin olive oil is never easy to separate because virgin olive oil has intermediate characteristic between extra virgin and lampant oil. So as a conclusion, we demonstrate that the potential to use less amount of sample and to use shorter time of extraction, we can improve to burst even the sensitivity and the quantity of information for each sample. Thanks for your attention, and I'm newly ready for your question. Thanks.
Thank you, Stephen. That was a great presentation. Judges, it's time for your feedback and questions. For those in our audience, please add your questions and comments in the chat. Judges, do you have any questions for Stephen?
Yeah, this is Snail. Let me go first. Stephen, yeah, it was a great piece of research work. I think your method, it may make it easier to profiling the volatile components of the olive oil and many other compound oils and similar applications. So it's a great work. My question to you was, how did the volatile profile of extra virgin olive oil developed by your method compared with what is available already in the literature? And extension of my question is, are there any critical component or critical profile markers which can be used for authentication and quality of the extra virgin olive oil? Thanks.
So it's a good question, but it's difficult to give a direct answer because it depends which purpose we want for extra virgin olive oil, because it depends if we want to do to check the authenticity, so the origin of the different extra virgin olive oil. But then what makes different, it's more in the semi-volatile compound, because regardless the quality of olive oil, for example, there's a lot of hexanal inside, but whatever and this is the higher compound, this doesn't make difference between the different olive oil. That's why the interest of this technique to improve the extraction of the semi-volatiles can make some difference and help to really distinguish the different quality of olive oil, so extra virgin, and lampant. So that's why it's powerful to really distinguish this part.
Thanks.
Thank you, Stephen. That was really good. Do you anticipate other oil types would behave similarly to this methodology?
But not yet. It can be even. We are working on some other matrices. Actually, we are working on coffee, but I started with olive oil because, as you can notice, on the previous work that I showed before, I work with olive oil. So it's more about this, my PhD topic. So I started with this, and this is an interesting matrix because it's complex. And now on another complex matrices, we are working with coffee. That's also challenging because it's really complex one.
Okay. And one other question, did you consider other SPME fiber phases?
In that case, no, it can be interesting, especially with different similar adsorption compound. Here, it was just to use really to have a starting point similar to others. This one is the most used SPME fiber for olive oil and volatiles in general. That's why, for these purposes, with the headspace, for us, it was the better to start with this. After, we can imagine for sure with different coatings and different applications. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, Stephen, it's Arun again. I really enjoyed your presentation. I was most interested in your classification results. So you showed that with the 30-minute run, you didn't have good separation between extra virgin and virgin olive oil, but with the 3x10, you had good separation, right?
Yes.
And so my question is there anything in between that gives you the, is there a lowest amount of time that gets you the same separation? Or like the optimal separation?
Sorry?
Or the, that ensures that you get the separation that you're desiring? So instead of doing 3x10, could you
but then, because here, okay, it was just to show the strength of this method. For sure, now we are applying this to for sure a more significant sample, so with more extra virgin, with more virgin and white compound, because here just a few. It was to show that it's easier. And this, in that case, also we wanted to show with a lower sample. So here we have 0.1, but the result can be different with one. But here, what can be done in the second time, it's because we can quantify also in one GC analysis with standard for sure, but it's better in one shot we can estimate the quantification of one compound or many.
Okay, great. And so I guess what is the future work in that realm?
But so here with the century, because we are more an instrumental approach. So it's with the coffee, and here it's for the moment we work on brewed coffee, but then to do immersed extraction. So then we can combine headspace and also in the one analysis we can imagine many things because this Sentry autosampler have many functions and it allows to play a lot with it. Really, it's a really nice autosampler, yes.
Great, awesome.
Hi,
Thanks.
Stephen. We have questions from the audience. Here's one. Very nice research. Thank you and well done. Which SPME fiber or polymer combination did you find worked best for these OO volatiles and semi-volatiles? Do you want me to repeat the question?
Yeah, please, can you repeat the question? Sorry.
The question is, which SPME fiber or polymer combination did you find worked best for these OO volatiles and semi-volatiles?
So the choice of the fiber, you mean? Yeah, it's written. Which steps? But this, we were more focused on the application to play with the multiple extraction. So we started with the most common SPME fiber that was used for volatiles, so the DLB CAR-PDMS, because it was not our purpose for the moment to change the fibers. But this, for sure, for different application, can be nice to see what we can play. Because here, for example, we are with an adsorption extraction process. But why what can happen? What can you have with absorption fiber? This it's another topic. So all the work is preparing. But here it was really to work on the shorter time and lower amount of olive oil. Sorry.
Thank you. We have another question from the audience.
Yes.
Are these 3 extractions from a single vial or 3 separate vials?
It's the same vial. So here we stay with the same in the same vial. Yes. So to really have this to decrease the low amount so big, for sure it could be nice. It depends the purpose that we want, but here we really have to have a non-saturated headspace. So with multiple extraction inside, we decrease the amount of volatiles inside to have a better overview and representation of the all compounds inside.
Thank you. Our time is up. Thank you, Stephen, and thank you all the
Okay,
judges.
perfect. Thanks.